10 long years. I'm married to Mariucci. For Mariucci.
You know, Enzo, I don't know anymore. We used to have farms, and then we moved into apartment complexes, and now we're moving to the suburbs. We used to have crops, and then we ended up with indoor plants, and pretty soon we're gonna have backyards. For me, all you need is rosemary, sage, and thyme. Yeah. Time. 12 to 25 million Italian Americans refuse to self-identify as having Italian heritage. They instead identify as American. What's happened? Time. Things used to be way more simple.
Not really. After the Italian War of Unification in the 1870s, over 4 million Italians fled poverty and persecution to New York. They all came from the south, southeast, and Sicily.
Sicily and Abruzzi.
Sì, Mezzogiorno. See, and a lot of them didn't even speak the same dialect of Italian.
You know, a lot of them were actually fleeing persecution. The North used to treat them really badly, and there were a lot of ethno-cultural tensions, probably due to the African heritage of a lot of the south of Italy, due to their conquering by the Greeks, Carthage, and the Moors at various points in history. I think it makes sense that when they came to America, they only trusted the family. It seemed unwise to be loyal to any other institution outside of it.
And why would you? I mean, a lot of these immigrants were birds of passage, as the historians called them. So really, they didn't have any intention of staying in the States for very long. They'd take part-time jobs doing construction, roadworks, building bridges. You know, they literally built New York. But about 49% of them would eventually return back to Italy. Even though they were farmers, they didn't want to do that in America, because that meant they had to stay for too long. Besides, most of the farmers back then were Protestants.
It makes sense to me that the Italians stayed linked with the family when they immigrated, when they came through Ellis Island. The Irish, they linked with the Roman Catholic Church and the Democratic Party. The Jews, they often linked with the education system and big business. Italians, they linked with the family. In the home, they spoke Italian, they married Italian, they fucked Italian, they cooked Italian.
Hey, Antonio!
Hey,
Dominic the Coco!
Come here.
Hey.
How are you? Hey, come here. So, fellas, what's going on?
I was just talking about how I think things had changed. When Italians first came over to Boston, Philadelphia, and New York, they used to use family as this cork to keep them psychologically buoyant in times of distress and trauma. But because they experienced similar discrimination they experienced back in Italy, they started to repudiate their past and their families, whittle down on the language a little bit. They even struck the vowels off the end of their family names.
Well, I don't understand a lot of what you just said, but I know a lot about vowels. You know, I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and he said, you know, I caught my baby and I put it in my cart.
What the fuck?
I know, it's a very odd thing to say in the first place, but also, in Italian American, we don't say caught. They're two different words. We say them in different ways. We have caught, as in I caught a ball, and a cart, like the thing you put a baby in. So you caught your baby and put it in a cart. We got lots of stuff like that in Italian American. I told this guy, the first thing you gotta learn is, well, it's how to say first. You see, not like the Jews in New York, okay? They say first, but it's not like a British person says first. It's a diphthong. It's first. When we say the word call, that sound call. No, I got a British friend and he says call. It's right down the back of his throat. The word is call. We're trying to call out. You gotta call with the front of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Now you try it with me, okay? Call. Call. Call me. Call. 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 In know is when you say New York, you say New York. It's New York. You don't say New York. It's very, very weird when people do that. Another thing that I really find annoying is when people don't say I. It's a rounded thing. You gotta say I. It's not rhyme. It's rhyme. You gotta round it. You gotta put a bit of rhyme. You gotta put a bit of time into it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, say I rhyme with time. You gotta say it with me now. Come on. I rhyme with time. Good. That's really good. Boat, moat, goose, moose. It's not boat, goat, moose, goose. That's some standard. Moose. Ha ha. Moose. Come on. Moose. Anyway, boys, I gotta go to work, so I'll talk to you later tonight, okay?
Should I actually light it?
My mother, she used to add vowels onto the end of things, like, hey, put your clothes in the washing machine.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Maria. World War I offered a lot of opportunities for social mobility for Italian Americans. And they moved out of poor areas like Lower Manhattan and East Harlem to more affluent areas like New Jersey and Staten Island. As a matter of fact, after World War I, they became a lot more culturally visible, you know?
During World War II, the Italian population became suspected of treason by the government and the FBI, who sort of conflated fascism and being Italian. 600,000 non-residents were put in internment camps. And a lot of people on the West Coast, not in New York, were actually made to live under a curfew. Every single one of them was given identification papers that they had to use as well. During that time, people used to put up signs in shops saying no Italian spoken here for the duration of the war. When there previously had been 65 Italian-speaking radio stations in New York alone, they all were obliterated. This put a massive dent on the culture and on the language that was spoken by Italian Americans.
Hey boys, I brought pizza, huh? So fellas, what's going on, huh?
We were just talking about the world wars and how things weren't so great in terms of the Italian-American experience. But after the war, things really picked up, you know? The GI Bill came through giving access to education for a lot of veterans and their families. It meant, though, that the accent kind of got a bit neutralized as people tried to fit in as they moved into occupations like politics and law.
Well, that's right, but we also had a second wave of Italian migrants. And lots of these Italians were educated too.
That's right. Eventually, political leadership rose. LaGuardia, Mayor of New York, Mario Cuomo, he became governor of New Jersey like 3 times. Shame about all those negative stereotypes that proliferated though. You know, about the gangsters. There are only about 3,000 people that actually engage in organized crime. However, it seems that one little subculture has come to symbolize the mainstream culture of Italian America.
So I don't know what you're talking about, man, but I know a lot about consonants. Let me tell you about some consonants, okay? Say the words better or bother. Don't worry about the R, okay?
Forget about it.
Forget about the R. There's an ing at the end of a word, like I'm going to New York. We don't say going to New York. We say going. We're going there.
We don't need to go there, we're already here.
Salud.
If there's a th in the middle of a word, just say D. Brother, mother, father. I said, please get me something with some fizz. She had no idea what I was talking about. Turns out, we Italian Americans, instead of a z sound at the end of a word, we just say s. We just say s. We like to keep it simple. Fellas, you know what really excites me about consonants?
Everything, apparently.
A glottal stop. Have you ever heard of a glottal stop? It's when we got a T in the middle of a word and it's followed by an N. not followed directly, but after a vowel. We don't say painting. We say painting. You got a glottal stop. Painting. You try it.
Painting.
Yeah. Why don't you guys give it a go? Painting.
Hey, that's good.
When we were in Italy, the Italian language is what's called it's a syllable time language, right? As opposed to a stress time language, which is what English is. So on average, Italian language, the syllables are more even than they are in English. Well, this influences the way we Italian Americans talk. You see, when I say that, Italian American, you know, if I say that in an English accent, I say Italian American. So second last thing, the most important thing about Italian American accent is the vibe. Okay? We're in New York. It's loud. Everyone's talking. We want to get heard. You gotta be loud. You gotta get the voice low in your mouth. You gotta get it front and center. You gotta go boom. Italian language, the melody is what's called a high-low accent. So you go up to the accent, and then you go down. So you're like, hey, hey Enzo, do you want to get me a pizza? That's an Italian thing, right? You want to get me a pizza?
Yeah.
That's in the north of Italy. They use it like that, and they do the opposite in the south of Italy. And so we use that. And also in Italian, they lack any morphological or syntactic means for making a yes/no question. So that intonation by itself can carry the crucial function of distinguishing intonality.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I know what you're talking about with that rhythm shit, but I know a few boys who do. Hey, take it away, fellas.
For 10 long years, I'm married to Mariucci. For Mariucci, I walk at the pooch. For 10 long years, I love my Mariucci. But Mariucci, she loves the pooch. When she buys the doggy food, she's careful as can be. Before she gives it to the dog, she tries it out on me. For 10 long years, I'm married to Mariucci. But Mariucci, she loves the pooch. Hey Joe, what do you know? My dog got all the luck. My wife, she calls him Poochie dear, and me, she tries to duck. Because my wife, Mariucci, she's got a heart of stone. My pooch, he eat all the meat, and me, I eat the bone. For 10 long years, I'm married to Mariucci. For Mariucci, I walk at the pooch. For 10 long years, I love my Mariucci.